Murfreesboro and Rutherford County are so rich in their respective histories, with many women who've had integral roles in creating our community's sense of place. The Rutherford Arts Alliance is proud to partner with Murfreesboro City TV to showcase a number of these women as a part of our Leading Ladies of Rutherford County History project. From murals to our community-involved play, A Party of 12 by Mary Donay Johnson, we're proud to honor these diverse women of our past who inspire us as we give them a voice in today's world. Let's find out more about one of these leading ladies.
Getting an education for African Americans was very difficult in the early 1900s. For some, it was because of location. That didn't stop Smyrna native Lottie Sublett. In 1930, Sublett became the first student from Smyrna to attend Holloway High School in Murfreesboro.
We're going to be talking about Miss Lottie Richardson Sublett, is that right? Okay, correct. I personally don't know a lot about her, but I would just love for you just to tell me what relationship you are to her and what you know about Miss Sublett, if you don't mind.
Well, her parents we always called cousins, and I really never delved into it. Never really asked my father either, because he keep up with families and things. But I've done some ancestry research.
Oh, okay.
And my great-great-great-grandmother was a Richardson.
Oh, okay.
And she was born in Maryland. And then I researched Miss Lottie's father's ancestry, and he was a Richardson, and he was born in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we are cousins in some respect. So that's how.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't understand that until we do the ancestry. And also DNA. I don't know if you've ever done that, and that right there is another one where families tend to show up when you do that DNA. And like you said, most too, in doing my research, that's pretty much way the enslaved came through Maryland and Virginia, and then trickled down to the other states. And I tell a lot of people, even though you may not be blood kin, you may be there together because of your slave master that had you enslaved, and therefore you carried the same name. And I found that out a lot, and everything. And a lot of times when you're in the same community, I found out with people with the same name, you do have some kind of ties to each other in some kind of aspect.
Yes.
So with that being said, with that is, I would like for you to tell us a little bit more about her.
Her mother, Cora, and her father, Broom, lived, you can't say blocks, but a path from my grandfather.
Okay.
And I lived a path from my grandfather. So I usually would go to their house. And so they had 5 children. Lottie Mary was the oldest, and there was Queen Esther, and then that was Charles B., Robert Lee, and Ellen.
Okay.
And Lottie was born in 1913.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. 1913. And the reason that you're celebrating is because she was the first black from Smyrna to come to Holloway High.
Oh, okay.
So excited about that. That was a journey in itself, because usually in 1930 nobody came to high school. Nobody. There was no high school around.
Right. Doing that, yeah. And I know, and not only fortunate enough to come to high school, a lot of like my parents and their parents, my grandparents and stuff, even education period
Yes,
was a
yes,
thing that was
yes,
not prevalent in the community. My dad, he finished the 3rd grade.
Yes.
And my mother, she finished the 8th grade. And even though she admitted she could have gone to high school because she was only child and her father could afford to, she just chose not to. But my dad did not have any choice, you know, with his father being sharecroppers and stuff like that. So they weren't able to be able to go to school like people are like during my time.
Right.
And also I'm sure that was accomplishment for her to be able to not only go to elementary but come to Holloway High School.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about that, because during that time the buses was not running to Holloway High School, because it was during my
Right,
time
right.
when they started allowing that to happen and everything. So her
Right.
getting to Holloway from Smyrna here in Murfreesboro.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I tried to research a bus route, and I couldn't, but my mom suggested that maybe this happened with her. You had relatives within the city, and you stayed with them. That happened with my aunts.
Okay.
I had one aunt that went to Pearl in Nashville, and another aunt that went to Chattanooga High School. But like you said, my dad went to the 8th grade, but his daddy wouldn't let him because he needed him on the farm.
Right.
So, and the other option was a Greyhound bus. So,
Yeah.
but I don't.
Yeah, so when she came to and stay with a relative, so she would just stay during the week and then go back
home.
and go back
Yes.
home to Smyrna.
Yes.
Yeah, and that takes a lot, you know, perseverance for them to be away from the family like that, and to want an education.
Yes.
And because they knew that was an outlet for them during that time. So in that, and also she went on, I understand, to college from that, right?
Yes. She went to, at that time it was Tennessee Agricultural and Industrial State Teachers College,
Yeah.
now known as Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
And that was in 1937.
Okay.
She went there. So, yeah.
And majored in?
Well, just she wanted to become a teacher.
Okay.
But she ended up working at Meharry Medical College
okay.
in the pathology lab, working with the students. I guess, you know, doing dissections and all of that.
Right.
So that's where
Wow.
she ended up.
Wow, that's great. And I know she was a Richardson and she ended up being a Sublett. Now, was the Subletts from the Smyrna community, or did she meet him?
In Murfreesboro.
Oh, from Murfreesboro.
He was from Murfreesboro.
Oh, okay. Did they go to school together? Did they, you don't know?
I don't know.
About
I don't
that. I
know.
was just
I don't know.
wondering
Yeah.
if he also went to Tennessee State or to Holloway. Or whatever.
Probably he went to Holloway.
Oh, okay. Did they have any children?
They had no children.
Wow.
They had no children. And they ended up living in Nashville, in South Nashville. He owned a barber shop. They lived close to the
okay.
Belmont area.
Okay.
So,
That's in South Nashville.
it's
I
South
think.
Nashville. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's in
Yes.
South Nashville.
But that didn't deter her. She didn't have any children, but she had lots of nieces and nephews. And what she did was she established an educational fund. I do know that.
Really?
For her nieces and nephews.
Wow.
And that is how they were able to go to school too.
Wow, that was great.
Yeah.
I tell you, so a lot of times we think about, you know, being a parent, having children. It's not always that way. You know, you have
Yes.
children other than just being birthing
yes,
children.
yes,
So she took it
yes.
up, and to do that for her nieces and nephews, that was great.
Yes.
And everything. And I know you all have to admire her for what she done. Of course, and that set a pathway, let other people know, see what can happen, not look at the circumstance of where you are, where you came from.
Right.
That if you put forth that effort and everything, you're able to move forward.
And I just want to mention just several things about, she had a niece, Lenore Washington, who taught in Smyrna for over 45 years. Smyrna Primary, in fact, for over 45 years.
Yeah.
And her sister was also a teacher. And she was a teacher at Silver Spring Elementary until they all moved to Rosenwald in Smyrna.
Did she? I think didn't she teach at cemetery? The
At
cemetery school as
too.
well.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Of course, Elaine. I went to school with her at Holloway. She was a class ahead of me, and then she went to Fisk, I believe. Then she came to MTSU. So we ended up together again at Middle Tennessee State University back in the '60s and everything. And from there, yeah, I know that Bo. Was there, her mother and father both. Her father was a principal there at Smyrna Rosenwald, and her mother taught, and then they merged.
Yes.
So she had that background there, and I know Lottie probably set a good example for Queen, her sister, for her to be able to accomplish what she was able to do too because of that. And of course, like you said, Elaine followed in there, her mother and father's footstep, and went on and taught school there for 40-something years. And I know I used to talk to Bo, you know, I thought she was just going to someday just retire and enjoy life, but she said no, she was going to stay there.
She was going to teach.
And she stayed there.
She did.
The whole time until death.
Yes.
So she was committed.
And that's how they found out she had passed away. She missed a day of school.
Wow.
So somebody went and
found her. Yeah, that is really
she was still
something.
working.
Dedicated person and believed in the cause.
Another one I wanted to mention was Dr. Vincent Windrow, who is an associate provost for MTSU now. That's a great nephew.
Okay, that's Lottie's great nephew. Wow,
Yes.
great, good. And I'm sure she, you know, the foundation she laid had something to do with
I'm
him.
sure it did. I'm sure it
too.
did.
I also went to school with Windrow's mother. She and Elaine, matter of fact, was in the same class. They was right at the same age. They was a class ahead, you know, ahead of me. So with that, do you have anything else that you would like to add about Lottie and the Smyrna community?
Just to appreciate what she did, but breaking the ranks and moving out, and others followed, and then we had transportation to Holloway High. So you know, just really appreciate that. What she did.
Yeah, I think they talked about too. Were they landowners? Did they own their own farm eventually?
Oh my gosh, they owned land. In fact, Cousin Cora's father gave land to the Mount View Church.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they worshipped.
Oh, okay.
And so, yes.
That's smart. And I know one of the things they mentioned, I think, with the leading ladies is about, I think they talked about the father raising a garden, and they talked about the vegetable and stuff he would share, you know, with people there in the community and everything. So, and they were giving back, and that's a blessing. At that time, you think in terms of the early 90s or whatever for African Americans to even own land, that was a great accomplishment in itself.
Yes.
I know with my own grandfather, and I still live out there, how I looked it up, how he was able to buy it in plots. And of course, back then they sold us the worst land that there was, that we couldn't.
They thought.
And of course, we have a lot of rocks and stuff, how they piled them up, and they were determined to make it work and was able to farm and everything. So, and I know that was one thing they were talking about with Lottie's father, but what he was able to do there on the land, to use that land to with the family, and as well as sharing it with the neighbors and
you
stuff.
said rocks, but they lived on Rocky Fork Road.
On Rocky Fork Road, so it got its name, and we live on Rocky Hill Road, and it got its name. So and everything. So that's good. So, and also, I think didn't she spearhead the Rosenwald park, the park there, because her name is within those records. You know very much about that, the Rosenwald?
No, well, that many in the community are on the plaque, as you say, in the park, but they, you know, got together and said, okay, we want a park in our community, and they all got donations, did fundraisers and all of that. And Smyrna said, okay, you got the money, we'll fix. And actually, Rosenwald is the only park now, there may be another one, there's some new ones, but it was for the park was the only one with a community center in it.
Oh, okay.
A building.
Okay.
A building.
Okay. So I think, was she on that committee when they first started that, because they have a name where she was a part
Yes.
of that committee?
Yes.
That they got together, and I have a picture where someone donated that to the African American Heritage Society, where she's on there, and it looked like it was maybe 8, anywhere from 8 to 10, I'm not sure, I didn't actually count them, that are there, and her picture was one of the ones
Yes.
that they had there. Yes. Now, with that park, they call it the Rosenwald Park. Is that a duplicate of the school? That's not
No.
actually the Smyrna Rosenwald
That's
School.
not.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
I was wondering about that because I've been to it a couple of times,
Yes.
and I was wondering if that was actually the school or
No,
they just
it
duplicated
does-
and named it that and put it there in the park.
No, the school was much larger, and it was a different configuration. So,
Okay.
but that was just a community center a community building that they built.
Built. Okay. Well, great. Well, we appreciate you coming in today and sharing this with us about Lottie.
Lottie.
Is that her name? Is that abbreviation?
No, Lottie.
That is-
Lottie.
So that's actually her name.
Lottie Mary Richardson Sublett.
Oh, okay.
For more information about our project, Leading Ladies of Rutherford County History, visit our website, leadingladiesrutherford.com. Or if you have a story of someone from the past who inspired you, you can share it on our website. For more information about the Rutherford Arts Alliance and what we're doing to promote arts, culture, and heritage, visit rutherfordartsalliance.org. And thank you for watching.